What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel Demita, and welcome to the Courtside Club. Here we are again with more WNBA CBA updates. Who's ready for some more drama? Raise your hand. Anyway, I did not think that I would be filming another WNBA CBA update video for you guys, and it's not my favorite topic to cover, but I do want to keep you guys informed, and there was some new information that came out just today from Annie Costable. Shout out to Annie Costable. She has been on top of all of this, and I feel like she has been breaking some major news when it comes to the WNBA's new CBA that they're still trying to work out. Now, in yesterday's
How are you all doing? Welcome to the Courtside Club. My name is Rachel Demita. You must hear this because the WNBA recently made a move that is so profoundly myopic that it is truly unbelievable. The league has chosen to pull the rug out from under its players by taking away a benefit that has been an essential part of their lives for years, right in the middle of what are supposed to be groundbreaking contract negotiations while they're tossing around these huge, flashy salary numbers. Housing one was given by the team. This decision came as a shock, causing immediate and widespread outcry, and everyone is wondering who in the world is making these decisions, from the players on the court to the spectators in the stadium.
Extended once again, and now the deadline is January 9th to get a deal done. But Annie Costable just reported today that the WNBA proposes cutting team housing and an earlier start to the season. The league is proposing a 7-figure base maximum salary, but it's coming at a cost. Now, I'll go over really quick the latest monetary offer that the league proposed to the players, and I talked about this in yesterday's episode in a voiceover, but
this is more than just a poor negotiating strategy. It's a huge risk that could totally erode player confidence in the league office and reveal a leadership that is startlingly disconnected from its own athletes. Really, this one tone-deaf idea could be the last straw for the current government, demonstrating how hopelessly out of step their objectives are with the basic welfare of players. What's even more bizarre is that the league is proposing these enormous 7-figure bases at the same time as this perplexing change.pay, which appear to be a huge victory for the athletes. First, a base wage of an astounding $1 million is anticipated, and when revenue sharing is taken into account, players may earn up to $1.2 million. By 2026, several players on each club may reach that sum. 1, 2, 3. This ought to be a time of unadulterated joy, a sign that the league is finally giving its players the respect they merit, but it feels more like a traditional Trojan horse. Upon examining the fine print, you will notice, you can't help but wonder whether these enormous salaries are merely a smokescreen, a showy diversion to conceal cost-cutting measures that would ultimately make the players' lives more difficult, given that they're also removing crucial support services.
Really stood out to me because just last season, the max salary in the WNBA was around $220,000. Now that is going to be the minimum salary that a player can receive playing in the WNBA. So you can see the huge leap that the WNBA is offering when it comes to purely how much the players would make off of their salaries. Now, the biggest sticking point for the players has been the revenue sharing.
When charity is linked to a policy that is so outdated, it seems utterly deceptive. The average player wage is now expected to surpass $500,000, with even the minimum salary rising to almost $225,000, adding to the complexity on top of the maximum salaries, 0.12345. Let's take a moment to consider that. The WNBA's absolute maximum supermax wage was around $249,000 in the previous season. Therefore, it is undeniable that the league is offering its sportsmen a significant increase in salary.
Those targets, they will get this revenue, and the salary cap will continue to increase as seasons go by. Now for the kicker, the brand new nugget of information that we found out just today, and that is that the league has removed team housing from proposals submitted to the WNBPA. Teams have been required to provide players with in-season housing since 2016, and this is something very similar to what they do in the G League. So for G League players, they're provided housing. The G League players don't make nearly as much as NBA players do, and obviously it's a developmental league. Some G League players get pulled up to the NBA, some go back and forth between the NBA.
However, there is an obvious and inevitable contradiction when such a historic pay increase is combined with the elimination of a basic need like guaranteed housing. It utterly overshadows any goodwill that may have resulted from the compensation checks and instead draws attention to the league's top brass's deep ignorance of player demands and fan expectations. The league also says that income sharing, one of the players' main long-standing grievances, is finally being addressed. The system was configured for years such that players would only receive a portion of the earnings if the league met specific, frequently unattainable financial goals. Players thought that the system was unfair, especially since unanticipated occurrences like a worldwide pandemic could cause everything to fall apart. 267. This is purportedly resolved by the current proposal, which promises that the salary cap will increase in tandem with league and team revenue, without those goals serving as a barrier. This seems like a significant improvement on paper.
Players should be making real money. Of course, they're not going to be paying for housing. I'm sorry, it makes sense to me. And I know a lot of the WNBA fans online are like, how dare you take away the housing? How dare you take away the housing? Well, if these players are making over $1 million, they should be taking away the housing. That's an added cost for the league. And hopefully it gets to the point where everybody is making significant amounts of money and they can pay for their housing. Now, people were bringing up, what about the players who are coming in on hardship contracts? What about the players who, are in and out or on 10 days or whatever, like not those players who are obviously fundamental pieces to different teams. And I do think like there's no way that the
1. Here's the issue though. All the other lessons absolutely overshadow this genuinely beneficial growth. It seems less like a genuine compromise and more like a last-ditch effort to divert attention from the extremely unpopular and ill-considered measures that could jeopardize the discussion as a whole. The elimination of team-provided housing from the proposed CBA is the fundamental cause of the problem and the one thing that has shocked and infuriated both the player and fan bases. Point 1. Consider this. Since 2016, it has been mandated by the league for teams to offer in-season housing to its players. Even developmental leagues like the G League follow this conventional procedure.
that is expected to interfere with the NCAA tournament and potentially other leagues such as Project B. The start date for the training camp could be as early as mid-March, sources indicated. The current 44-game regular season runs from mid-May to early September. The 2025 WNBA Finals ended on October 10th. I'm laughing because it's just crazy to see how short the season actually is when they put it like that. Mid-May to September, so May, June, July, August, September. It's not even a full 5 months for the teams that don't make it into the playoffs. For the teams that make it into the finals, it's 6 months of basketball. That's a very short season.
5. The WNBA did provide players who wish to live independently with a monthly stipend, which might vary from about $1,000 to over $2,600 depending on the city. The choice to completely remove this benefit is just viewed as a massive, unexplainable step backward. 18. This action reveals a leadership that is completely detached from the everyday realities of its athletes, particularly those who are just starting out or are on the bottom end of the new compensation scale. It also screams of a tone-deaf approach from the league office.
Back to my point of we want to see the WNBA become a major sports league and be highly regarded and highly respected and have this be their full-time job. Like I feel like everybody's goal, if they get the right people in place in leadership in the WNBA, because it's kind of a mess from top down, but everybody's goal should be like this should be their full-time job. The players shouldn't have to play in off-season leagues to make more money. They shouldn't want to play in off-season leagues to make more money. They should want to take those 3-4 months when we're talking about other leagues like the NFL, the NBA, the NHL. They would want that off season to rest their bodies, to rejuvenate. But
the WNBA's priorities become even more perplexing when you contrast this decision with what the G League accomplishes. Despite earning much less than their NBA counterparts, G League players are still given housing or a stipend to make ends meet. It is simply astounding that the WNBA, a league that is aggressively working to establish itself as a prominent top-tier professional organization, would eliminate such an essential and encouraging perk. According to the league, players will now be earning enough to pay for their own housing, but that totally ignores the enormous value of the security and usefulness that team-provided housing provides. This is particularly true for players who are new to a city or who lack existing networks.
The cut into unrivaled season. Do you think NECA's going to be happy that the WNBA is going to try to get them back into training camp in March, and she will just be coming off of Project B, where they're also making millions of dollars in Project B? I honestly don't even have a suggestion at this point, but I will say I have been one of the people since the beginning of time who has said there's no way.
A traditional short-sighted cost-cutting strategy that significantly damages the league's reputation as a helpful employer and alienates its most valuable assets, the players. Perhaps the most annoying and disgusting aspect of this entire housing fiasco is the obvious disrespect for the lower-tier players. It is virtually unthinkable that the league would draft a proposal without housing provisions for players with difficulty or short-term contracts. You're discussing the possibility of leaving gamers totally stranded and frantically looking for a place to reside in a new city. However, the difficult choices don't end with housing. Additionally, the WNBA has proposed extending the season, which includes an earlier start date that would unavoidably coincide with the NCAA tournament. 110. Training camps might start as early as mid-March under this idea, which would be a significant change from the present timetable, which starts in mid-May 1610. The suggested timing is a practical disaster, particularly for a league that greatly depends on the yearly influx of elite collegiate players, even while a longer season might seem ideal for revenue and fan engagement. Despite the league's proposal for a 7-figure base maximum salary, an apparently significant pay win, this contentious move. 9. This goes beyond simple administrative oversight. The leadership's neglect to safeguard its most vulnerable workers is disastrous. This enormous blind area in the CBA discussions makes the league's decision-making process appear not only dumb, but also actively detrimental to talent recruiting and well-being, especially for players who aren't yet eligible to receive the projected million-dollar wages. 10. This choice demonstrates a startling lack of strategic vision once more. For all of the incoming rookies, it causes immediate, inevitable disputes and absolutely upends the women's basketball community's established rhythm without providing any practical or obvious remedies. Players have previously voiced concerns about too many back-to-back games causing injuries during the current 44-game regular season, which has a demanding schedule from mid-May to early September. In addition to being futile, pushing to extend the season without first resolving these current player welfare issues is dangerous. That a direct and inevitable conflict with competing leagues would also result from the suggested earlier start date, such as Project B and Unrivaled, two well-known businesses where a large percentage of WNBA players' salaries are earned over the off-season. 5 feet 11 inches. Making players choose between these extraordinarily rich chances and going to WNBA training camp puts them in an unfair and difficult situation. This isn't just a straightforward scheduling difficulty. Let's be clear, this seems like a direct, calculated attack on the players' independence and capacity to optimize their financial security outside of the WNBA. 11. The leadership of the league is essentially requiring its top players to give up other significant sources of income, and they're doing this without providing a year-round assurance of a comparable standard of living. This choice has the potential to backfire spectacularly, alienating the very talent that the league relies on. In addition to all of that, keep in mind that many WNBA players now play in leagues throughout Europe during their off-season. In Turkey, France, Germany, you name it. They already find the basketball schedule to be an exhausting year-round slog. They frequently proceed directly from the WNBA Finals to their foreign teams, only to return in time for the upcoming WNBA season. These already hectic schedules would be further compressed by an earlier start date, leaving players with essentially no off-season to rest, recuperate, and revitalize their bodies.